Welcome to ATR Powerslam, above the rings exclusive YouTube show, coming to you to provide all your wrestling results for the week ending in, I totally missed it, 9/16/2023 with a 20-minute time limit. We are your hosts, the SOB and Scott. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Let me turn on my timer because I am not prepared today. The timer's good to go, and we're going to kick things off with Scott for Monday Night Raw.
All right. Raw, the last official show run by Vince McMahon and company before the TKO merger. We will talk about that more in depth on our next episode of ATR, so make sure you pay attention and listen and watch that. So things kicked off with Kevin Owens coming out to the ring and calling out Jey Uso, talking about how nobody in the locker room besides Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn are for him right now. So he has a lot of work to do. And it's, of course, this is all very rich coming from Kevin Owens with everything that he's done in his past. And he even mentioned that as well. So I was like, all right, at least we know what we're doing here. So those two are kind of going at it verbally a little bit. Jay trying his best to leave the bloodline stuff in the past and trying to move forward by himself. But of course, the Judgment Day themselves won't let this be. They're trying to recruit Jey Uso into the family. And honestly, it's probably been one of the more entertaining bits of Raw recently. It's Judgment Day. They've been doing amazing anyways, but having them now interact with Jey, trying to bring him in, it's funny. I thoroughly enjoy it. But it ends up being an argument between all of them, and Kevin wants to fight them. Sammy obviously not here on the show tonight, but Jey Uso steps up and says, "Hey, I'll be your partner. We'll see how, everything should be fine. Let's go." And then obviously the brawl happens. We go to commercial. So I'm thinking to myself, well, we all know what's going to happen. We got a tag team match player. And yes, we do. Finn Balor, Damian Priest take on and actually defeat Kevin Owens and Jey Uso, unfortunately, due to a miscue from Jey with a super kick to Kevin Owens. And then Judgment Day able to finish the match off. After that, we had The Miz continuing on his path to actually to this Friday Night SmackDown to take on LA Knight. Yeah. And wanted to right his wrong by losing to Akira Tozawa a couple weeks ago. So he takes him on again, and this time does get the victory. Miz and LA Knight's feud has been fantastic to watch. The videos and everything that they've done with this, of course, the production company is just their stuff is just flawless. Always really has been. After that, we had the Gunther Intercontinental title celebration. Now the longest reigning IC title holder in WWE history. Sam and I actually talked about this on our last ATR episode. Glad to see that one checked off the list. And up next, I believe, is MJF. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But of course, this whole thing started off real well for Gunther and Imperium, but it was interrupted by the Master, Gable himself, and Otis starts having a brawl. Then Tommaso Ciampa comes out of nowhere with a steel chair to even the odds out. So made me wonder, I wonder why this is happening. So right after that, they have a backstage segment, and Ciampa says, "Hey, sometimes you just need to make your own moments. There was an opportunity, so I jumped into the fray." So Chad Gable's constantly on this road to wanting to take this IC title from Gunther. Now that Gunther has the longest reign, I can see now maybe there might be some cracks that might start to show. We'll see. I don't know. It should be interesting. After that, we had probably for me my favorite match of the night: Drew McIntyre taking on and defeating Xavier Woods. Drew's kind of done this little bit of a turn lately, being very aggressive, more heelish, and talking some trash about Kofi Kingston. And obviously, Xavier not gonna let that happen to his boy. It's nice to see Woods in the ring as a singles competitor. I feel like his future is very bright after New Day, if it ever eventually disappears. He did this all, but Drew just a little too much for him tonight, which is fine. But really good showing from Xavier Woods. After that, we had Cody Rhodes was going to come out and talk about Jey Uso, but of course he was interrupted by Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Devolves into a brawl because that's what happens on pretty much every WWE show nowadays. Just brawls everywhere. But JD McDonough also comes in and helps out Dominic. JD also trying to get his way into the Judgment Day, and things seem to be going a little bit more his way, but Cody does stand tall here. After that, we had Shayna Baszler take on and defeat Chelsea Green. Shinsuke Nakamura attacking Ricochet in the back to further get along in Seth Rollins' head as we head towards the next pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure that Shinsuke's got some gold in his future. It's just leading in that direction. After that, Tommaso Ciampa and the Alpha Academy have their 6-man tag against Imperium and get the victory. And then your main event of Raw, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez for the women's world title. Rhea getting the victory, but of course, not without some shenanigans. We had the return of Nia Jax. We'll leave that as it is. The internet definitely had more than enough to say about this. So we shift gears over to NXT. We have Ilya Dragunov taking on and defeating Wes Lee to become the #1 contender for the NXT Championship, and he will face Carmelo Hayes at No Mercy. This sent Wes Lee into a bit of a spiral. He ended up actually leaving the show at the end, and he said he's done. He's going home. His wife was there, so I was like, all right, well, shit, okay. Is this a call-up? Is this Wes taking some time off? I don't know. We'll see. After that, we had a 6-man tag. It was Drew Gulak, Charlie Dempsey, and Damon Kemp getting the victory over Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, I can speak, and Miles Bourne, when Miles Bourne actually turned on Briggs and Jensen and realigned himself with Drew Gulak and crew. After that, Lyra Valkyria getting a big victory over Dana Brooke. Dana's been going a little insane in NXT lately, and it's actually pretty awesome to see. So I look forward to seeing what's next with that. In the Heritage Cup Global Invitational, Tyler Bate getting his first 2 points, getting a win over Axiom. We had the Creed brothers defeat Malik Blade and Endris Anafi. Good to see all 4 of these boys back on television. We had Nathan Frazier getting a victory and 2 points in Group B of the Global Invitational, with Nathan Frazier getting a win over Kira Tozawa. And your main event here was for the NXT Women's Championship. The big time has come back to NXT. Becky Lynch defeating Tiffany Stratton to become your new NXT Women's Champion and a Grand Slam champion. So that's it for the beginning half of WWE stuff. Let me kick this over to Sam. We can talk Dynamite, ROH, and Impact Wrestling.
Good old Dynamite. Yes, here we are. Post All In, All Out. At this point, kick the night off. Jon Moxley defending the AEW International title successfully against Big Bill. Following that, we had the AEW Women's World Title Grand Slam 4-way eliminator match. Toni Storm defeating Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Nyla Rose. I believe Toni takes on Saraya at Grand Slam this coming week. Adam Page defeated Brian Cage. Then we had Darby Allin and Nick Wayne take on defeat Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. And the main event, Samoa Joe defeats Roderick Strong to take on MJF at Grand Slam for the AEW title. So we will see how that goes this coming week. Mm-hmm. Following that, we're going to hop over to Ring of Honor. It's like doing the Pokemon rap. Claudio Castagnoli defeats Rocky Romero to retain the Ring of Honor World title. The Infantry and Willie Mack defeat the Outrunners and Kevin Koo. Mercedes Martinez defeat Zoe Lim. 6-man tag champions Gates of Agony defeat Matt Brannigan and Cole Radrick. Darius Martin defeated Christopher Daniels. Shane Taylor defeated Slade Johnson. Willow Nightingale defeat the Lady Frost. Josh Woods defeats Dominic Garini. Ethan Page defeats Griff Garrison. Didn't realize he's still with AEW. The Workhorsemen defeat the Boys. And AR Fox defeats Tony Nese. Hopping over to Impact, and if I'm not mistaken, this was the 1,000th episode, or like the first of 1,000th.
Yeah, they're doing I think it's a 2-parter for the 1,000th episode. So yeah, this was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't believe Impact 1,000. Wild.
You love to
Uh,
see it.
um, Chris Bay, Crazy Steve, and Moose and Uya Amura win. Hold on a second. Feast or Fired match. Ethan would have to elaborate on that, but he's not here for that. Team 3D defeat the Desi Hit Squad. Frank Kazarian defeats Tracy Book, and Tracy Brooks defeats the Edwards. And Chris Sabin defeats Leo Rush to win the X Division title. And that is an Ethan pick according to Ethan's choices. So we're going to hop back over to Scott to get into the weekend and finish up the WWE card.
Oh yes, the first show under the TKO brand. Oh, that this thing was a doozy. We had the first surprise, which was Pat McAfee come out. He was doing College Game Day an hour away, so he decided, I'm gonna go make the trip. And it's always nice to see Pat on the show. Michael Cole once again going absolutely apeshit, which is fantastic. Because he loves this man so much. But Pat doesn't get too much out before he's interrupted by Austin Theory. Austin, just being Austin Theory, doing his I'm Austin Theory and you're supposed to love me, but nobody actually does. And Pat cuts him off and says, you keep talking about how you don't care what these people think, and you talk about how this is the people's show, and you know what that means. And then all of a sudden, the "if you smell what the Rock is cooking" happens. The crowd, my God, I actually had to turn the volume down because holy smokes, what a pop. This was insane. Obviously it's great to see the Rock come back. He gets in the ring, obviously does his verbal stuff, just absolutely destroys Austin Theory. The whole segment ends with Rock giving the rock bottom to not rock bottom, the people's elbow to Austin Theory, and then Pat McAfee does one of his own, which was absolutely hilarious as well. But yeah, SmackDown kicked off super hot, and the things just kept going. The first matchup, Finn Balor taking on AJ Styles. Finn Balor getting the victory. Obviously, with Judgment Day being the undisputed tag team champions, they can be on either show. This is also continuing the storyline that AJ Styles is going to be the next in line for Roman Reigns' title. So Jimmy Uso also getting involved in this match towards the end, which is what caused the distraction for Finn to pick up the victory. There's been this little thing between Jimmy and the Judgment Day recently. It's sending Paul into a bit of a tizzy. Paul Heyman, that is. So there's a lot of confusion going on right now with the bloodline, but it's still very entertaining to watch. After that, we had the LWO in the ring, with Rey Mysterio saying some words about how a year ago his life was in shambles because of all the situation with Dominic. Coming over to SmackDown, is at a crossroads, doesn't know what's going to happen, and then a year later, now he's the United States champion. This then prompts Santos Escobar to ask for a title shot, because Santos was supposed to have the shot against Austin Theory, but Theory attacking him, causing him to get injured. Ray took over. Everything seemed cool. There was no cracks, no nothing. No LWO. Ray said that's perfectly fine. You deserve this. We'll have our match later on. They were then interrupted by Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. This new trio, some good stuff. I'm very, very much looking forward to see what these three do. So they come out, they talk about how they're going to take over, and obviously with everything going on in the ring currently, they're like, well, this might be easier than we personally thought. This leaves Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde to grab the mics and be like, I'm tired of you guys just talking shit. Just get in here and let's just fight. So we end up having a tag team match, and the Street Profits put them down real quick. They go to commercial, we come back, and literally 30 seconds later, the match is over. So I'm like, okay, this works. It's great for the Street Profits, not so much for the LWO. After that, we had the match that a lot of people were looking forward to. It was LA Knight taking on The Miz and getting the big victory, putting this whole thing to sleep. After that, Asuka getting a big victory over Bayley, thanks once again to Shotzi. having just another distraction. Not Judgment Day, the Damage Control. Io is going to be facing off with Asuka soon, and Bailey was trying to soften up her for Io. That did not happen. And then after that, our main event was the Grayson Waller effect with a special guest of John Cena, and John Cena getting another monstrous pop. I'd probably say it would be the second loudest pop of the night, and LA Knight getting the third loudest, which I did not expect him to be so low. But the energy that they gave out when The Rock came out was just unmatched, this whole thing. But Waller, obviously being the jerk that he is, sets up John Cena. We end up having Jimmy Uso come out, starts having a brawl. AJ Styles comes out to the ring to help out John Cena. Solo Sikoa comes out and attacks John, leaving him laying Paul on the phone, I guess, with Roman Reigns, like he does during the show, and tells Solo to save Jimmy from John. So it looks like we're probably going to have ourselves some type of tag match between John Cena and AJ Styles versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa probably in the future. There's a lot going on. I'm not doing this justice at all, but this first TKO show for SmackDown was just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, the future's bright if they keep this up. Obviously with the strike as well, we're going to see some more stars come back. Kind of hoping Batista makes an appearance, but we'll see what happens. But that's WWE. I've talked too much. Send it back over to Sam so we can finish this up.
We're gonna close this out with Rampage and Collision. Rampage, the Hardys and the Lucha Brothers take on Defeat the Butcher and the Blade, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. I don't know. There's a lot of people here. A lot of people coming out on the side.
There was like 15 people around this match. It was insane.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it. I got to go back and watch Rampage. The Kingdom take on defeating Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. A non-title six-man tag match. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn defeating the Outrunners and Peter Avalon. Aussie Open taking on and defeating Damian Chambers and Lord Crew. And then, of course, the AEW TBS title match. Chris Statlander defeating Jade Cargill. And we will talk about what happens to her coming up on our next episode of Above the Ring. Hopping over to, Saturday night, Collision. We had Big Bill and Ricky Starks defeating the Blackpool Combat Club of Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. We have the AEW World Tag Team match, FTR retaining against Iron Savages. John Silver defeats Anthony Bowens. Aussie Open take on defeat PB Smooth and Wes Barkley. Andrade El Idolo defeating Scorpio Sky. The Righteous taking on defeating the Hardys. And then another TBS title match, Chris Statler taking on defeating the Doctor herself, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Guys, that has been Powerslam. Please make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. And don't forget to listen and watch to our latest episode coming out of Above the Ring.